Hi, and welcome to the Health Begins with Mom show. I am Dorit Palvanov, your host. On this podcast, I will share insights and interviews on health, parenting, and explore the question of what does it take to thrive as women, wives, and mothers. Now, let's get going with today's episode. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Health Begins with Mom podcast. This is Dorit Palvanov, your host. Today we are talking about what does putting yourself first look like in a life of a busy mama like me and like you. And so you've heard me say putting yourself first many times on the show. And I guess for many of us, this idea is pretty obvious and maybe even trivial. But every single time I speak with a mother who is raising a young family, there are so many obstacles in the way of taking care of herself and ourselves. And, and instead, what you end up doing is taking care of everybody else in the process, right? And so many of us get into this loop of giving so much that you eventually end up about yourself. And so this podcast is really all about inspiring you to heal yourself and thrive as a woman, wife, and a mother so that eventually you're able to have the brain capacity, the mental capacity to do what really matters, which is to find your life's work and live your life with purpose, with meaning, and with a lot of joy. And so today, I want to share with you some of my own examples of how I take care of myself and why it matters to the bigger picture of what I'm creating in my life, my family, and my marriage. And I think it's important for you to hear these stories so that maybe somewhere along the lines, you will find yourself in my stories and in my sharing. So let's dive in. First, putting yourself first is not selfish. So stop saying and thinking this, because it is not true. What's selfish is believing that you are a superwoman and a Wonder Woman and plowing through tired, exhausted, and unmotivated, uninspired, not feeling sexy and vital in your life, and then expecting to be loved and desired and appreciated by everybody else, right? So let me be the one popping this bubble for you. You can never get that which you do not and cannot give. First, you have to give yourself the nurturing, the self-love, the appreciation, and feel magnetic before anyone else notices. I'm going to repeat that. Before anyone ever notices. This matters because as someone who wants to create a beautiful home, someone who wants to raise strong, resilient, self-reliant, independent children, as someone who wants to feel truly connected to her partner and live her life with meaning and purpose, you have to have the mindset of this is an inside job. And as a master manifestor, you will have the power to do so. And once you get into the intricacies of that, you will be blown away by the magic of all of this. So when you're putting yourself first, you make it a priority to feed your mind and body with nourishing thoughts, with nourishing ideas, and obviously nourishing food as well. It all starts with identifying what are those things that fill you up so much and turning them into non-negotiables. And when I say non-negotiable, what I mean is you will get to do them no matter what. So, for example, this could look like making your gym or exercise routine a priority and canceling things to get it into your schedule, or canceling a fun night out with your girlfriends so that you can catch up with some sleep so that you can wake up refreshed and rejuvenated the next day. Or maybe you can decide not to take any technology into your bedroom because you know what will happen if you do, right? You will end up finding yourself scrolling mindlessly through social media, looking at other people's stuff and feeling more and more depleted, resentful, and small. So So in my work with women, I talk a lot about the process of adulting and maturity and stepping into your life as a creator instead of a victim, and be proactive with regards to what it is that you want to create and build in your life, and your vision and your values, and being laser focused on them. Playing small is not an option, especially not if you are a listener of this podcast. So I've been playing small most of my life, and at this point I am done. I'm so done, and I know many of you are done as well. And I've seen way too many people and women in my family and my community who've sacrificed themselves so much that it brought them into an SOS state of literal sickness, or sometimes even passing. This is unfortunate, but just this last week I've heard of somebody who passed because of thyroid cancer, and then there was somebody who had to go through removal of her entire uterus because of cervical cancer. Like it's brutal, and I hear this this story coming up again and again and again. So why is it that we women are putting ourselves last and then ending up getting all of these painful and annoying and, for the most part, really unnecessary diseases? And guys, the more I talk to women, the more I'm realizing this mindset, this mentality of, oh, it's gonna pass, oh, it's okay, it's gonna be okay, I'm fine. And the thing is, the reality is that you are not fine, and things are not going to shift, right? Unless you actually are going to be mindful about it and you're going to take action. The reality is that feeling that you are having in your body, of just not feeling good, of just being sort of like, at 50% of your mental capacity, right? So you feel, so many women I've spoken to, they tell me, I do not feel like I am living my fullest potential. Like, I'm not realizing myself. I'm not becoming the best that I can be. I'm not living the best of me. And a lot of them are feeling as though motherhood and, being a mom, raising small kids, is standing in the way of that. But the truth is that the only person who's standing in the way of that feeling is you. It has to start with you. This is not a joke, guys. And I want you to look around you, and I want you to see if there are any good examples around you of women who put themselves first unapologetically because they believe that they deserve it, that they're worth it, and that they know that everything starts with them feeling content and alive in their bodies and in their beings, right? And it's interesting because these women would be the ones who are raising really amazing kids, and they are the ones who have amazing and fulfilling and vibrant marriages. These would be the women who decide that they matter. So in my own mommy life, putting myself first is actually a new concept, I admit. It's new for me too, because just like yourself, I was that mom and woman as well. So only a few months ago I started paying attention to myself and my thoughts and my behaviors. And in the past I was just completely unaware of the fact that I serve my kids the best food possible, but for me, for example, I end up eating their scraps, or even worse, I skip meals altogether. And so no more. I ain't doing that no more. For example, let me share something with you. Last week, I had this incident where there was just one avocado left in the kitchen, and in our house, avocado is a pretty staple breakfast. So there I was, cutting this avocado for my kids and about to spread it on their toasts. And usually each one gets 2 small toasts. And suddenly, right, so I'm talking about practicing putting myself first. Suddenly I realized that if I cut it in, that if I cut this one avocado for them, I'm not going to have any avocado left for me. And I love avocado. Not only do I love the taste of it, I actually know how it affects my body and my hormones. And so I made a conscious decision, and I cut it off I cut half of it for the kids, and the other one I left for me, and I made a point of it. Honestly, they didn't even notice because their other toast was with tuna and they love tuna. But for me, it was an important point to make because I matter. I deserve to eat good food too. And I'm going to make that extra effort for myself. And I encourage you to do that as well, right? So I think that if we get into the habit of routinely showing our girls how to prioritize ourselves, they will eventually learn through the process of modeling to do the same for themselves. Again, this is not about selfishness, and it's not about viewing yourself as the center of the universe. You guys know that I'm anything but that. This is about honoring yourself so much that you are aware of these little things that start out as small energy leaks, but end up to be enormous mountains of depletion, exhaustion, and years long of self-neglect. A breath. Here's another example, and I haven't shared this one with you yet, but exactly a month ago, my little baby, Naomi, had a massive hip surgery done on her left hip. And since then, she's been basically healing with a full body cast wrap around her lower torso and her left foot, left leg, not just a foot. And as you know, or as you may know, I work from home. But even though I'm home, I'm working, right? I do podcasting, I do coaching calls, I create content, I develop programs, etc. Basically things that are impossible to do with a full-time dependent child at home. And I love my work. That is an important point, right? So don't get me wrong. I wouldn't want anybody else to take care of her because, as she's going through this. And this is exactly why I've designed my business around my family schedule so that I can be present with them as well as do the work that fills me up on an intellectual and professional level. But I knew it is going to be tough. And so in an attempt of practicing what I preach, I've decided to put myself first and clearly state what it is that I actually need to make this work. I didn't pretend like I can do everything and be everywhere despite knowing that I cannot. And I'm well aware that my energy reserves are very limited at the moment, and I don't have the time or the will to do more than I can. So first thing I've done was to ask for help. Loads of help. So my mom and my mother-in-law, they looked after our older two girls for really 2 whole weeks so that we could be fully present with our daughter as she's recovering. Yes, I felt like my family is breaking apart. And yes, the girls kept asking when they're allowed to get back home. But since we were literally back to infanthood and sleepless nights all over again, we knew that it would be a disaster if they stayed home with us. So in an effort to help everyone to stay as sane as possible, we decided to divide and conquer. Now, I know this is not possible for everyone, and I'm so grateful for having a family that we can lean on. But if you don't have that, maybe it's a good idea to start working on creating and cultivating your circle of friends and community members that you can trust and lean on in times of need. This obviously takes time and it takes intention to come to life, but it is so worth it, right? And it creates so much space in your life in order to create something that you can stand behind. And then second thing I did was not to reject an offer by my friend to create a meal train for my family. And so I was completely blown away by the responsiveness and attention that we've received from other women and mothers in our community. We've had fresh, delicious meals delivered to our door daily for 4 weeks. So not only did I not have to cook, I also many times didn't really have to do shopping because that was also taken care of. So that was so amazing. And the last thing I just recently did was to take a break from this entire scene and just replenish and restore myself. So I'm actually recording this on the day of coming back from this getaway. And I'm feeling so full, and I feel so ready to, to keep going and keep giving and doing for myself and for my community and for my clients and for my family more and more. And a year ago, I would never be able to book myself in a hotel alone. Never. And just to disappear. The feelings of guilt, the nerve, the chutzpah, the entitlement were so overwhelming that I wasn't able to do it. Now I've decided that it was a matter of life and death. Well, not really, thank goodness, but you know what I mean. It was that important to me. I actually wanted my girls to see that I do this, and I also wanted them to experience me after. So I've booked myself in a hotel for 2 nights where I could just catch up with some work, sleep whenever I want. So I could shower, I could sit on the sun by myself and watch stupid shows on Netflix without feeling like, oh my gosh, somebody's gonna catch me or somebody's gonna walk on me right now. All of this without being on anyone's schedule, without anybody needing me or touching me or needing me to feed them and then get into an argument as to why what I've made wasn't even eaten. I wanted to just go back to my old self, like I used to be in high school and university, carefree, responsibility-free, and on my own terms. This was such a freeing exercise for me. Literally, that's what it was. It was an exercise in freedom. It's been such a long time since I felt like this, honestly. Motherhood does take some of that juice out of us, and so it is important to remember to replenish yourself and fill yourself up. And I do want my girls to see me doing this. Otherwise, they too will fall into the trap of martyrdom and putting themselves last as though they are leftovers. And the truth is that they are not leftovers, and you're neither. You are not a sideline. You are a human being. You are a woman, you're a mother, you're a creator, and you deserve to feel good and feel alive in your life. And so what I also wanted to share with you today, so these were some of my own personal examples, but I wanted to talk about 5 reasons to why putting yourself first actually is going to make your life much, much better. So let's begin. Now, reason number 1, nothing is ever really an emergency, and most things can wait. So research shows that a clogged and overwhelmed mind actually takes longer to execute on tasks, whether it is at work or taking care of your house and kids. When your head is rested and clear, you're actually able to do the laundry, the feeding of the kids, taking them to dance class, and grab groceries on the way home. Remember to call that friend on the way, and even enjoy a great intimacy with your partner after putting everybody to bed. Yes, it is all possible. It might not be sustainable for the long term. You can't function like this every single day, right? But if you take the time and make yourself a priority, you will actually be better at anything you want to accomplish in your life. So reason number 2, your health literally depends on it. So are you familiar with the sick on vacation phenomenon? You know that one. You get sick the moment you get to the resort or to your vacation destination. Why does this happen? Because you've been pushing yourself so hard, literally killing your adrenals and pumping more and more cortisol into your bloodstream, which actually gives you that illusion that you are invisible and you can go, and you can keep going and you're invincible. But the moment you relax and breathe, you get sick. And that happens because your body needs the freaking break, right? So the body will actually slow you down. That's why so many of my clients, they get sick. They get sick, especially on the times when they're like, I really do not need the sickness at this point, So if you want to avoid that, make sure to make yourself a priority and take regular breaks and rest on a regular basis. All right, reason number 3, and that's a juicy one. You will actually have a better sex life if you put yourself first. So many women I work with complain that they have a low libido. But here's the thing that we have to understand, and this is a great quote by the wonderful Esther Perel, who is a therapist and a psychologist, and she works with couples, and mostly they work around sexuality and relationship and connection. And she goes like this: there is nothing that stands in the way more to a woman's desire than the sense of caretaking. If I have to think about everybody else, I cannot think about me. And if I cannot think about me, then I do not have access to my sexual desire. So as a woman, if you are constantly in service to others and are neglecting yourself and your deepest needs and cravings, you are depriving yourself of uncovering the greatest pleasure that exists, and that is the pathway to your sexual self. Here's another great quote by the lovely Esther Perel. If the only role you play is of a mother, then there is no room for sexuality to reemerge, because the sexuality doesn't emerge in the space of a mother. It only exists in the space of a woman and a lover. I'm gonna repeat that. If the only role you play is of a mother, then there is no room for sexuality to reemerge, because the sexuality doesn't emerge in the space of a mother. It exists only in the space of a woman and a lover. Bam! This is so freaking true. Yes, we are mothers. Yes, we are caretakers. But we are also women, and we're human beings with sexual desires and needs. And as long as we keep playing these roles, there is no space for that which your husband or partner wishes to have with you. So give the permission to step out once in a while and just be a woman. Not a wife, not a mother, just be you. If you've never heard of Esther Perel, she's the author of 2 great books on sexuality and relationships, and I'll make sure to link up to both of them in the show notes below, so please make sure to check that out. Also, she has a podcast. Just in the search bar, type Esther Perel, and you'll get the podcast. I can't remember the name of it right now. All right, reason number 4. Your kids will actually benefit from this as well. So if you think that your kids do not notice when you're depleted, unfocused, or mentally distracted, you're fooling yourself, my love. Children, more than adults, have the capacity to not only read you, but also feel your energy. They might not have the vocabulary to express what they feel, but they do know when things are not okay. They do know when you are not your best, and I'm sure that you want to give them your very best. So give yourself and them the permission to be apart for a while so that you can give that which they need from you. And reason number 5 to why putting yourself first and allowing yourself to just, be on your own is that you will feel more alive and playful in your life as a result. And when you put yourself first, you really allow yourself to step into your role as an important and active member of the world. And as someone who chooses to use her time, energy, and resources wisely and purposefully for the betterment of everyone at stake. I once heard that quote by somebody named Naveen Jain. I think he's a billionaire, and he's behind some amazing projects. He's actually a business executive and entrepreneur and the founder and former CEO of InfoSpace. And also, he is the founder of Viome, which is basically a company. It's not a supplement company. It's a company that develops products to allow people to understand their gut microbiome and get more information as to why they're sensitive with certain foods and why they have different food allergies. And so he's an amazing human being. I'll make sure to link up to his website as well. And so I've heard him say once this amazing quote, and I wanted to share it with you. So he goes like this: how do you measure your success? Your success is measured by how many lives you've made better. If you live your life without purpose, and you're not using your gifts and talents in the best possible and resourceful manner, you're essentially a parasite in the world. All you do is take without ever giving back to society. So I love this quote so much, and I couldn't agree more. So many of my clients are young mothers who still haven't figured themselves out professionally, which is totally okay, as long as you are committed to your personal growth and development. In my opinion, there is nothing worse than going through life knowing that there is a song inside of you which you never dare to sing. So please sing this song. The world needs to hear it. I want to hear it. So your action task for today would be to ask yourself, what is it that you need? Is it a bath? Is it a shower? Is it a getaway? Is it a massage? Is it a night out with your girlfriends? Is it to get your nails done? Is it to wax your mustache? Is it an orgasm? Is it really good food? What is it that lights you up? As always, you're welcome to share it with me or the other moms inside of our amazing closed Facebook group called Busy Moms Get Healthy. I've created this space for you, so use it, make the best of it. So, if anything I've covered on today's episode touched you in any way, please do not allow it to just dissipate. Momentum and excitement are rare occurrences, especially in the life of a busy mama like you and me. So, I'm inviting you to reach out to me. Let's hop on the call on a phone for a quick chat and see if we're a good fit, if we're right for each other, if I'm the right coach for you or not. And what does it even look like to work with somebody like me, right? If I'm not the right person for you, I'm always open to referring you to the right people. So keep that in mind as well, because I only work with women who are in alignment with my values and my mission. So you can email me at dorit@healthbeginswithmom.com, and you can mention episode number 57. So my love, until next time, I'm sending you much love and much healing. I'll catch you next time. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Health Begins with Mom show. I love hearing from you, so please post your comments and questions over at healthbeginswithmom.com/podcast. If you love the show, please share it on social media and in your real life with other moms who might enjoy this content. And if you have a burning question or topic you'd like me to hit on the show, just drop me a line at dorit@healthbeginswithmom.com. And if you love the show and really want to support it, please go to iTunes, write a review, and subscribe. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you next time. Much love and many blessings.